you can open it again and again. This is a quote by Garrison Keillor. Have you ever wondered what it takes to get that precious gift from the author's imagination into a bound and printed book? Well, we're going to go over how to publish a book. The sections we're going to go over is delivering the manuscript, the production process, and marketing. The first step to publishing a book, once it has been written, is delivering the manuscript to as many publishing houses as you can. When you want to deliver a manuscript, you want to look at the editor. What kind of reputation do they have? What kind of reviews do they have from other authors? And as well as the level of enthusiasm that they show towards the book that you're trying to give them to print for you. Another thing to look at is the publisher's track record. Have they printed anything similar to the book that you're trying to print? And do they have any bestsellers? Another thing to look at before you sign and before you do anything is the contract terms. You want to make sure that their contract is something that you can work with and that you're comfortable with as well, because you don't want to sign over the rights to your book. Another part, the last thing you need to do is actually sending in the manuscript. Once you send in the manuscript, there are submission guidelines. And these guidelines I found on Bloomsbury Publishing, and they are that you must follow the guidelines of the publishing company. You want to make sure that they hit each and every one before you send it in. And you also want to proofread it and edit it as much as you possibly can. Once the publisher is chosen, the production of the book can begin. The production process is when the story gets edited, organized, all its artwork, and then put on paper. So when you send it in for production, you can plan on it taking between 21 and 22 weeks. This was also found on the Bloomsbury Publishing website. The 21 to 22 weeks consists of copy editing, typesetting, proofreading, revising check, final correction, digital bundle creation, printing, and delivery. Once this is all done, you must distribute the book, which, once you distributed it, it goes to the warehouse, and then once it goes to the warehouse sends it out to the different bookstores, and that's when your book can get sold. After the book has become a book, it is time to start selling them. Marketing is what makes or breaks the success of a book. A good way to market your book is to look at the community that you're trying to sell to. Is it a young adult book? Is it a children's book? Is it a book for older people? Once you do that, you need to find out what the common activities are that they do. Do they like Facebook? Are they going to school? Do they like bookstores? How are you best going to advertise your book? And another thing you can do is just talk. You want to talk the book up as much as you possibly can. You want to blog about it, you want to put it on Facebook, you want to put it on Instagram, you want to just put it out there as much as you possibly can. Get family members, friends, whatever, to review it. Hand out samples and just talk about it. Give whatever you can to it. And so, in conclusion, publishing a book is a long-distance run, not a sprint. It takes time, money, and a lot of energy, emotionally and physically. The next time you see a book, I hope that you think of what it took to make the author's dream into a physical reality. Any questions? You can just ask them now.
What is typesetting?
So typesetting is taking the designs and the text of everything that you have on the computer and laying it out on the page. So it's taking a computer screen and putting it on a physical piece of paper and then binding it into your book.
Lindsay, how are you going to advertise? I saw you mentioned a couple of things there, but how are you going to advertise for your book?
So if I were to ever print a book, I would probably advertise over Facebook and Instagram and social media, because that's where people my age are most likely to hang out the most, is on social media.
What is the most demanding of all the submission guidelines?
So when you submit a book, as I went over, there are submission guidelines. The The most demanding aren't necessarily the guidelines because they change from publisher to publisher. The most challenging is the actual guidelines themselves because you have to make sure that your book, what you want, also fits into what they want. So it's kind of trying to mix two worlds into one. There were other questions out there.
Well, how much does publishing a book cost?
So publishing a book, if you want to publish it yourself, it can cost up to $37,000 because you're paying for everything. You have to pay to publish the book, you have to pay to advertise it, you have to pay for the materials, you have to pay for everything. But if you go through a publishing company, it only costs about $5,000. And that includes a lot of what you would have to do yourself, but you also lose rights to your book. So you don't own it 100%. You don't own it 100%, whereas you would if you published it yourself. One more question.
Do you plan on writing a book?
I would love to write a book someday. Probably not for a while, but I have always wanted to write a book, and I hope to someday.